Brod Gio Barents ponovo plovi Sredozemnim morem. Upravo je završena još jedna akcija spasavanja migranata na Mediteranu. Bila je to 44. rotacija, kako ovu spasilačku akciju nazivaju na Gio Barentsu, najvećem brodu civilne flote koji izvodi akcije pretraživanja i spasavanja na Mediteranskom moru. U toku su pripreme za novu rotaciju. Peru se prsluci za spasavanje, sve se čisti i dezinfikuje za nove migrante koji su jedini spas pokušali da pronađu na moru. Sa nevladinom organizacijom Lekari bez granica, koja inače organizuje spasilačku akciju, na Gio Barentsu našla se i ekipa Radio televizije Srbije. Krenuli smo na ovaj put iz luke Civitavecchia, koja se nalazi u blizini Rima u Italiji. Dok plovimo ka najaktivnijoj migrantskoj ruti na moru, ka centralnom Mediteranu, razgovaramo sa aktivistima organizacije Lekari bez granica.
The Gio Barents is the search and rescue vessel of Doctors Without Borders. It's chartered since 2021, and we've been since then operative in the Central Mediterranean route. That is the deadliest route in the world.
Okay, good.
So in the Mediterranean route, in total, almost 30,000 people lost their lives since 2014. That is, since we have data. Because that number is unknown, also this is the information that we have.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
More than 2,500 people have already died through the Central Mediterranean route. This year alone, this is approximately 8 people per day. And the Central Mediterranean route, across all the death in the Mediterranean Sea, amounts to about 80% of the dead and missing people crossing through the Mediterranean.
U proteklih 9 godina, od 2015. nevladina organizacija Lekari bez granica je na mediteranskoj ruti spasla više od 90.000 migranata. Koristili su do sada nekoliko brodova. Na Gio Barentsu akciju spasavanja izvode od 2021. godine.
With the Gio Barents, since 2 years and a half of operations, since 2021, we have reached 10,000 people lately. And this year, because there is an increase of the crossings as well, we saved 4,000 people already. It's a very, very active route. It has changed since 2014-15. Right now, this year, the number of people that crossed this route has duplicated comparing to numbers of last year. Also because there is more people crossing from Tunisia as well. So now we have 2 main countries of departure, Libya and Tunisia.
Gio Barents plovi ka delu Mediterana gde se najčešće izvode akcije spasavanja. Krenuli smo iz Italije i idemo ka obali Libije, odakle najveći broj migranata polazi na ovaj vrlo rizičan put.
Basically, what's happening in Libya and in Tunisia, that the people are fleeing because there is a cycle of detention, extortion, that the only route available, the main route available for them to flee those countries is the Mediterranean Sea towards Europe. And they take to the sea in very unstable, unseaworthy boats. There is wooden boats, there is rubber boats, now also there is iron boats. Mainly we see those iron boats leaving the coast of Tunisia, and it's basically handmade boats welded by like unspecialized welders, and that they are very, very unstable.
Nella mia esperienza di soccorritore in mare ho avuto modo di vedere diversi tipi di barche, ma chiamarle barche è un poco una forzatura, in quanto io non le considero barche per tutta una serie di motivi. Abbiamo delle barche costruite in legno, altre barche costruite in ferro, che sono le più pericolose. Abbiamo dei gommoni, ma non si possono definire gommoni perché sono costruiti in maniera artigianale. Questo rende le operazioni di soccorso ancora più difficili.
Quando vedo queste imbarcazioni penso che per affrontare un viaggio del genere ci sia davvero poca consapevolezza di quello che è davvero l'affrontare un viaggio in mare, e ogni tanto sembra che sia più la voglia di scappare per poter avere un'altra possibilità rispetto all'esperienza di avere esperienza di mare. Quindi sì, sono un po'... Questo fa capire qual è il livello della disperazione anche un po' di queste persone.
Very often the people that we have on board do not know how to swim. They board also very overcrowded boats that are completely unseaworthy. They attempt to cross on boats that are not meant to navigate in high seas without any navigational equipment, no life-saving appliances. So they tick all the boxes of a boat in distress. This is the reason why, as soon as the cases are alerted to us or they're spotted from the bridge, we perform the rescue immediately.
Fino adesso tutte le esperienze che ho avuto come soccorritore in mare non sono state esperienze molto positive. La mia esperienza, che fino adesso reputo peggiore e che mi ha un poco condizionato, è stata un'operazione di salvataggio con 50 persone che erano in mare da 6 giorni. Una di queste persone vide una bottiglia galleggiare in acqua e nella speranza che ci fosse dell'acqua potabile si gettò in mare, però purtroppo la corrente lo allontanò dalla barca e 2 ragazzi, per salvarlo, si tuffarono insieme a lui e insieme ad un altro ragazzo, quindi avevamo 4 persone in acqua. Uno è riuscito a risalire sulla barca e gli altri 3 erano dispersi in mare. Noi siamo riusciti, dopo lunghe ore di ricerca, a salvarne 2, ma un altro è ancora disperso.
We've been experiencing some extremely difficult days as our teams have carried out 3 separate rescues over the course of less than 24 hours. The last rescue in particular was extremely challenging. It was a wooden boat with over 100 people on board that was extremely unstable. During the start of the rescue operation, several people went overboard. We managed to bring on board 99 people safely on board the Geo Barents after a very difficult operation. Unfortunately, we then found out that there were 10 dead bodies still on the lower deck of the boat.
The number of people in this boat changes depending on the type of boat. This year we have rescued in one occasion only 13, and we traveled with 13 people to La Spezia, to the north of Italy. But also this year we had 606 people on board from a big fishing vessel. Since 2015 that we are operative in the Central Mediterranean route, we have different kinds of collaboration with the European governments, especially with Italy. Since the Meloni government is in power in October, there is a new decree that is now framing the operations of the NGOs. So right now, our operational space, our humanitarian space, is very reduced. So when we do rescues, for instance, we are instructed to go straight away to a place of safety, and we have to therefore ignore other alerts if there are in the area. To give you an idea, for instance, last year we were doing an average of 3-4 rescues every rotation, and right now we are doing 1, sometimes 2. So this has limited a lot our impact, no, in terms of life saving. It's very frustrating when we have, I don't know, like 100 people on board and we know that there is other alerts and we have space for them and we have the expertise to do these rescues in a safe way and take them to a place of safety, which is what is framed in the international conventions, but we are being stopped to do that. So that brings a lot of frustrations in all of us. Of course, it feels very, very unfair.
Listen to me, okay? Is anyone in the water? There is anyone in the water?
So yeah, in terms of nationalities crossing the central Mediterranean Sea, we have people all over sub-Saharan Africa. So for example, people coming a lot from the Horn of Africa, Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Sudan. Then a lot of people arriving also from West Africa, Anglophone and Francophone West Africa. And then another large portion of survivors that we have on board come from North Africa, specifically from Egypt, or from the Middle East and Southeast Asia, including Syria, Bangladesh, and Pakistan.
For me, it's always very heartbreaking when I see the reefs approaching and there's babies and there's children. That's a moment where I barely can hold the tears. You know, that's very touching, and you know, it feels very, very painful to see them crossing in such conditions. And this is what proves that the people, they don't leave their countries because they are looking for a different life. They leave because they don't have other chances, because you know, mothers are mothers everywhere, and no mother will put in risk their life or the life of their children just because if they have another choice, right? So yeah, we find quite a lot of mothers and also pregnant women. In December, we had a woman on board that the moment that she was transferred on board, she started delivery and she gave birth on board Geo Barents.
Almeno per la mia esperienza ho avuto modo di parlare con le persone. Scelgono di tentare la fortuna attraversando il Mar Mediterraneo, spinti dalla disperazione, in cerca di libertà personali e per affermare una vita migliore.
Some women are traveling alone with their child. I remember one of them traveling with 3 children. The oldest one was 8 years old, and she was also suffering of autism syndrome. And she was traveling in purpose for her to offer to her oldest daughter a nice care in Europe, because her dream was just for her to be able to communicate with her daughter, because for now she was like autism without verbal communication. This mother, she was pregnant. She was pregnant from a rape, because it's very hard to say that, but basically sexual violence is very, very common on the way for women and men as well. But for women, it's also kind of to pay the passage, for example, in the border, in the Sahara Desert. So they used to stop them as a group, to undress them. Then they can rape all the women, even the children, regardless the sex. And so this woman, she talked to me and she told me, you know, like, for me, I was even expected to be raped. I was prepared to it. But I was never prepared that my daughter, disabled, will be also raped.
I dok plovimo ka Libiji, slušamo priče o strašnim stvarima koje se migrantima dešavaju na njihovom migrantskom putu.
And one woman told me, like, in Libya, if you are it's very strong what I would say, but if you are like black, if you are a woman, the money they can get from her, it's even higher than a man or white one or whatever. So it's very like human trafficking. There is a lot of people working without any salary. They are kept, even some of them they are kept in detention center, yes, but some of them they are also kept in a kind of what they call house, but they cannot go out,
So Libya has been widely documented, even by UN reports, actors on the ground, as really a place where massive human rights violations take place, both in detention centers, trafficking warehouses, torture warehouses. So basically people arriving from the north of Libya are exposed to traffickers, to human traffickers. They're often detained in detention centers or unofficial detention spots where they are sometimes tortured, exposed to sexual and gender-based violence, exposed to forced labor, sex trafficking. Often, for example, they are tortured and filmed. These films are then sent to their families for ransom, to basically for the families to pay for their release.
Chaque matin, ils viennent là, ils nous donnent le téléphone d'appeler. Si tu dis que si tu lances peut-être l'appel, ta soeur n'est pas connectée, ils vont commencer à nous taper. Ils nous mettent, si vous voyez mon pied là, mon pied tordu, c'est pas que c'est un accident, c'est les tortures. Ce n'était pas facile, jusqu'au point que, jusqu'au jour qu'on a pu trouver l'argent. Ils ont passé 2 mois de torture emprisonnés.
Et après notre arrivée dans la première ville de Libye, on nous a mis en prison. Les Arabes sont venus chercher des femmes donc pour coucher avec eux en fait. Donc c'est là que j'ai conçu mon fils. Les Libyens, ils tuent les gens comme ils s'en foutent. Si moi j'aille en prison, eux ils vont prendre mon fils, donc ils vont me la lever. Donc j'étais obligée de prendre le risque de traverser la Méditerranée, malgré que je sais que je pouvais rester dans l'eau à tout moment. Donc j'étais prête à ça, que je reste dans l'eau, que le bateau me sauve. Donc j'avais dit, c'est Dieu seulement qui peut nous sauver.
It's not easy for someone to take his family on that risky journey. But we have no choice. But we have to leave Libya. We don't need any more torture. We don't need to be a slave anymore. We just want to be free.
And then when people also attempt to flee Libya, since 2017, they are increasingly intercepted by the Libyan Coast Guards, brought back into a very organized system of detention centers in Libya, where again they face human rights violations, and often they have to pay to exit these detention centers, try to take back the sea, are often intercepted again. We heard people here on the deck telling us that they've been intercepted and brought back to detention centers, arbitrary detention, sometimes 5, 6, 7 times before being able to reach Italy independently or being rescued by the Italian Coast Guards or NGO ships.
Moi, j'ai fait prison. Moi, j'ai tenté chasser là 4 fois, 4e fois combat. Oui, moi, j'ai fait 4 fois. Les 3 là, on m'a fait calabousse. On m'a attrapé dans la mer.
Well, the Libyan Coast Guards are financed and supported technically and logistically and through trainings from the European Union, and it's the Coast Guards that are the main actor in Libya doing the pushbacks, so stopping the people to cross and bringing them back to Libya. And this is by default against the international conventions, because if you rescue people in the sea, you have to take them to a place of safety. The moment you take survivors to Libya back to where they are fleeing from, you are already breaking this rule. So in the central Mediterranean route right now, there is, I don't know exactly the number, more than 10, depends on the moment of the year. Also, some are small ships that they are only operational in summer, but there is more than 10, 15 NGOs that they are also trying to support the people crossing and also covering the space left by the states, because it should be the states in the European Union doing the rescues in the Central Mediterranean Sea. Again, the NGOs are here because there is no response. And they've been response in the past, in 2014-15, there was this operation called Mare Nostrum that Doctors Without Borders, we are always talking about it because it proves that it's possible to have a rescue operation led by the states in Europe to rescue, instead of keep supporting the border countries to stop the people to cross. Right now, the European Union migration policies are focused in stopping the people to cross, instead of saving people.
Prilazimo zoni u kojoj se očekuje da bismo mogli da naiđemo na migrantske čamce. Migranti koji kreću iz Libije obično plove ka italijanskom ostrvu Lampedusa, udaljenom oko 300 km od libijske obale. Ukoliko im navigacija pođe za rukom, što je retko slučaj, malom čamcu je za ovaj put potrebno oko 48 sati. Neki migranti su, izgubljeni u orijentaciji, proveli i po nekoliko dana na moru. Spasilačke ekipe Lekara bez granica još jednom uvežbavaju akciju spasavanja, koja u zavisnosti od vremenskih prilika može da bude izuzetno naporna i opasna.
Qui sulla Geo Barents facciamo moltissime operazioni di training, sia a mare con i RIB sia sulla nave madre, per essere preparati a qualsiasi tipo di scenario, perché non sappiamo quando arriveremo sul distress case cosa troveremo, quindi ci dobbiamo preparare per questo. Siamo sempre pronti alla chiamata via radio del Ready for Rescue, che può avvenire in qualsiasi momento, sia di notte che di giorno.
So now we are just training, and the moment we are ready, we say we are ready for rescue, then we approach the area of operations. This is international waters. The area where we operate is normally Maltese search and rescue region or Libyan search and rescue region. And there what we do is we patrol. We have bridge watches, so we spot. Sometimes we spot the distress cases from the bridge. Sometimes we receive alerts through different channels. It could be from the rescue coordination centers. It could be from alarm phone, or it could be from the NGO planes that they also have more capacity, to do search in the Mediterranean Sea, because, you know, it's a very, very big area. So this is how we receive the alerts.
Krenulo se sa osmatranjem sa broda. Satima i satima spasilački timovi Lekara bez granica nadgledaju situaciju na moru, osmatraju horizont. Poziv za pomoć stigao je ovoga puta iz aviona. Humanitarna organizacija pilota volontera iz aviona je primetila čamac pun migranata.
We just received an alert from Seabird. Of a boat in distress that it's 19 nautical miles offshore Libya, so almost reaching Maltese search and rescue region. So we have already informed the authorities that we are going to respond. So we're expecting to arrive to this last known position of this specific case in 3 hours, and hoping to find them very soon.
I posle nekoliko sati, na 30 km od libijske granice, sa komandnog mosta Geo Barenca primećen je čamac sa migrantima. Počela je operacija spasavanja. Tačno se zna šta ko iz tima Lekara bez granica radi. Brzi spasilački čamci krenuli su ka čamcu sa migrantima. U jednom trenutku smo sa komandnog mosta videli da čamcu prilazi i libijska obalska straža. To je stvorilo nervozu jer su Lekari bez granica do sada imali nekoliko neprijatnih iskustava sa libijskom obalskom stražom. Zaustavljali su ih u akciji spasavanja, pretili da će pucati na njih. U jednoj od poslednjih rotacija, libijska straža zapretila je posadi Lekara bez granica da će ih zajedno sa migrantima privesti u libijski zatvor. Situacija na komandnom mostu je napeta.
In coordination with the competent authorities, we are performing a rescue. Please stay away from our operations. We are performing the rescue.
Libijska obalska straža odlučila je ovoga puta da ne prekida akciju spasavanja migranata.
Abbiamo avuto un rescue di una imbarcazione in legno dove a bordo c'erano 57 persone e quindi si può parlare di una imbarcazione sovraffollata e non avevano dispositivi di sicurezza per navigare in mare, non avevano dispositivi di salvataggio.
With the Geo Barents, most of the rescues that we perform in the Libya search and rescue region, this is still international waters, but the competence of search and rescue in that area should be Libya. But when we rescue there and we ask for a place of safety for the people rescued, we need to make sure that this is a place of safety. But, so Libya cannot give a place of safety because survivors are fleeing from Libya. So then we ask to Malta as well for a place of safety, but Malta, since years already, is not responding to these requests. So the next state by law would be the next closer state would be Italy.
I tako se posle izvedene akcije spasavanja brod Geo Barents okreće i ponovo vraća u Italiju. Lekarski tim preuzeo je migrante na brodu. Popisali su njihova imena i uzeli sve ostale podatke. Pregledali ih, utvrdili njihovo fizičko i psihičko stanje i pružili pomoć svima kojima je bila potrebna. Migranti su se smestili na brod i ubrzo započeli razgovor sa nama. Kažu da su isplovili iz luke Zuara, koja se nalazi na severozapadu Libije. Čamac i motor su im, po njihovim svedočenjima, nabavili libijski krijumčari ljudima. Neki od njih odlučili su da govore pred kamerama. Neki su tražili da im sakrijemo identitet.
$4,000
$4,000 $3,000 $3,000 yes
per person.
yeah $3,000
والله يا أخي أنا القروش ده في زول دفعوا لي قال لي أنا ندفعه بس أطلع مع الناس ده. عندي صاحبي هناك.
صاحبك هو اللي دفع؟
أي هو اللي دفع أي.
ما بتعرف قديش دفع؟
قال لي حدود 12 13 ألف دينار كده تمام.
كان القارب راح يكون يعني
القارب هاي اصلا لما جينا القارب يعني كنا ما عارفين شكل القارب كيف هو قال لنا على المحرك قال لنا القارب كده صغير له ركب عليه 30 نفر تمام. احنا لما جينا وصلنا لقينا القارب كتبنا فيه 57 نفر.
Libya people first time talking go you spread boat VIP boat you go no problem no issue. After this is mistake. This is wrong. Small boat giving, too much people inside sitting. Too much. After a problem, too much. No food, no water, no giving water.
Problem. This small boat, this side, this problem too much.
Not easy. Very difficult journey.
Day night. Libya to coming night. Day me this place.
جايين في الطريق ومسافة كانت طويلة يعني لكن الناس اللي يسبحوا يعني بساط يعني كم نفر كده يعرف يسبحوا لكن باقي الناس ما بتعرف تسبح يعني حتى أنا ذاته يعني ما بعرف بسبح.
اكيد من الخوف بعد ما ركبت البحر ومشيت فيها حكايه عن 10 كيلو اكيد الخوف فيه ان لدرجه ان انا كنت بقول احني تلاقيها حديدي. كنت بقول لنفسي ايه اللي خلاني اضحي بحياتي وعمري كلها كده
اي والله واحد كان خايف طبعا، صح فعلا، انا موج البحر كبير خايف، لكن طلعنا المهم توكلنا وقلنا خلاص هنا كده اصلا يعني قنعانين من حياتنا خلاص ثاني، اصلا موت متنا خلاص، وكم فضلنا خلاص، بس توكلنا وخلاص طلعنا، ربنا وفقنا الحمد لله، وصلنا الحمد لله.
U potrazi za nekakvim boljim životom, ovi ljudi su rizikovali svoje živote. Da ih nije spasao brod Lekara bez granica ili pak brod neke druge nevladine organizacije koja izvodi akciju spasavanja na Mediteranu, pitanje je da li bi ovi ljudi preživeli. A šta ih je nateralo na ovaj, malte ne, samoubilački potez?
بدك تحكي لنا ليش خرجت من السودان وكيف الوضع في السودان؟
في مشاكل في العرق، يعني مشاكل يعني في اللون، حتى يعني انت الاسمر يعني الكلام ده سوى الحكومه طبعا من قبل. الحكومه كان عمل في دارفور، صلح ناس طبعا، قدام سلاح طبعا، يعني هو بيقول عليه حمية تحت حاليا في السودان هسه حاليا موجود ده، هو كان مصلح من 2003 مصلح، صلحه على اساس انه ينهي دارفور كلها، يعني ينهي دارفور، ينهي لون البشره السمراء هذا ده ينهيها كلها.
والله الحرب صار مشاكل كثيرة قبلية، في أرواح، في دهايا، في سرقة بتاع ممتلكات، وبعد ذاك قمنا هربنا مشينا للأراضي التشادية.
قررت أطلع من ليبيا لأنه عندي أخوي قتل، وعندي حتى أخواتي زوز قتلوا. بعد ذاك أنا كان معي ماما طبعا أمي، قالت لي تطلع.
امتى خرجت من اثيوبيا وليش؟ السبب؟
يعني السبب في مشكلة قبل في الحرمي، حكومة يمسك في الجامعة في السجن، يعني أنت ضروري بيمشي شرطة، فهمت صح؟ خلاص أنا ما نبي الشرطة.
Me Pakistan to coming Dubai to coming Masr, Egypt to coming Libya, Travelers me 2 years working, okay, but Libya working too much, money small, problem.
I dok razgovaramo sa migrantima, brod Gio Barents plovi ka Italiji. Čeka se potvrda u koju luku će migranti biti predati nadležnim italijanskim organizacijama. I onda stiže vest. Ide se u Ravenu, luku koja se nalazi na samom severu Jadranskog mora. I dok nam je za dolazak do Libije trebalo 3 dana, sada nam za povratak na sever Jadranskog mora treba 5 dana. Još jedna prepreka italijanskih vlasti, još jedan stepenik koji usporava i otežava akcije spasavanja. Dodatni dani na moru i brodu tražili su aktivnosti kojima će se migranti okupirati. Organizovano je takmičenje u fudbalu i kriketu. Organizovano je šišanje i brijanje. Nekim od migranata koji su preživeli jezive situacije u zemljama iz kojih dolaze, ovih nekoliko dana opuštanja značilo je mnogo.
بليبيا كيف كانت حياتك؟ كيف كان؟
يعني كيف قامت 3 سنة أيوة. أنا توا 3 مرة في البحر. زوج مرة في القلبوش. الشرطة في ليبيا مسكته ارجع من ليبيا. كيف يعني يمسك؟ في مركب شرطة بتاع ليبيا بتاع شرطة. جي امسك يعني أول مرة في الموتور في الرصاص اضرب يعني. فهمت صح؟ يعني كسر موتور. أنت قامس في المركب بتاع ماج يعني شرطة بتاع شرطة دي مركبة تقول اضرب يعني مركب والله.
أكتر مخاطرات قضيتها إن أنا في إدانة تجار البشر من فترة من بين مصر لليبيا ومن ليبيا لإيطاليا. المشاكل بنظام أنت أصلا السمسار ممكن تتفق معاه ممكن ما يلغي اتفاقه بعد ما يتم اتفاقه معاك، وقبل ما يمسكك في إيده وبعد كده يتفق من جديد يطلب عليك فلوس زيادة. إن اتمسكت هو يحب يطلعك من الحكومة الليبية بيطلعك وتدفع فلوس. في كل حاجة. في إن حبيت تتكلم معاه ممكن يضرب بإهانة.
وشلون بالنهاية قدرت تتخطى كل هذا وتطلع؟
الإصرار عن الهجرة. الإصرار عن الهجرة. إنك تبلاش.
But I think what's always really touching, for me anyway, when I try to convey to my friends and family, is the fact that people are very resilient. So even if they go through this, a lot of times it's not so much the narrative of being a victim, but of being kind of a survivor through all this, you know? If people meet these people that are, you know, these human beings that are rescued and they come, they would see that. They would see the resilience, yeah, and the fact that they're survivors and they're fighters for life.
Migrante na brodu Irene uči italijanski, da znaju bar da prepoznaju alfabet i kažu po neku reč kada dođu u Italiju. Došao je i taj poslednji dan našeg putovanja. Stižemo u Ravenu. Migrante preuzima italijanski Crveni krst, a potom policija i odsek za migracije. Njihova dalja sudbina je krajnje neizvesna.
So once the survivors they are on board, we take care of their medical needs, their protection needs. We inform them about their rights when they reach Italy, because they will have to go through a process of identification. They take their fingerprints. So there is a reception system in Italy that that is managed by the government in coordination with other NGOs as well. And they enter in this system when they have to apply or not for asylum. And it takes sometimes a lot of time, a lot of years. So it's not easy. So this is just the starting point for them. When they reach Italy, they have to face a lot of bureaucracy, and it's also, we also try to prepare them sometimes, not to explain them that it's now they also have to go through a very long process to be able to be to have the conditions to work and to live freely in Europe.
Njihova neizvesnost je tek počela. Neki od njih će odmah biti vraćeni u zemlje odakle potiču, jer će vlasti u Italiji proceniti da njihov život tamo nije ugrožen. Neki će čekati azil, ponekad i godinama. Na kraju će ga jedan deo njih ipak i dobiti. Neki će, čekajući svoje pravno rešenje, put pronaći u kriminalu i ilegalnom ostanku u zemlji. Neki će tražiti da odu, recimo u Belgiju, ali će ih Belgija na osnovu usvojenog Dublinskog sporazuma godinama odbijati i tražiti da se vrate u Italiju, jer su zakoračivši u tu zemlju ušli u Evropsku uniju. Neki mogu da dobiju zatvorsku kaznu i do 20 godina, i to ukoliko italijanska policija pronađe dokaz da je neko od migranata upravljao čamcem. Biće uhapšeni pod optužbom za krijumčarenje ljudi. A neko je i tim čamcem, kojim je, kako smo čuli, po paprenoj ceni prodala libijska mafija, morao da upravlja. I to najčešće bez ikakvog znanja o moru i navigaciji. Eto, to je njihova sudbina. Tako, jedan začaran i često dugotrajan krug za ove ljude tek počinje.